In this video, we're going to learn how to create some more colourful isometric text. For this activity, I decided on the colours I was going to use before I started the project, so I created a colour palette for use later. You can see the colour palette I've chosen for use in the top right-hand corner of my image. To create this colourful text effect, start by clicking File and New in Illustrator to create a new canvas. Click File, New, then select Print, choose an A4 sized canvas and set the canvas style to Landscape. Then click Create. With your canvas now created, click on the Type tool. Now, draw a text box on your page and type a word into it. For this example, I'm going to use the word type in capital letters. With the word typed out, it's very small and it's not the font that I'd like to use. So select the word by highlighting it, and in the right-hand menu, go to the font style, click in the font box and type HEL. This will bring up the Helvetica style font list. Select Helvetica Bold. Now resize the font. The font size option is just below where you selected the font style. With the up and down arrow, we can change the size of the font. If we want really large font, we'd have to click a lot. So I could just select the font size using the Set Font Size drop-down menu. But the largest it goes to is size 72. I want to use larger text than this. So I'll highlight the number in the box and I can delete that and type the number manually. We'll use 180 point font. With 180 in the box, press Enter and your text will change size. Now, click on the Selection tool and move the text into the center of the page. Now click Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. Now make sure there is a check mark in the preview box in the bottom left-hand corner of this new menu. Then at the top, where you see Position, click in the drop-down menu and select Isometric Top. You'll see that the writing has changed angle and is now isometric. Now click OK. Finally, we need to change the fill color to give it a 3D effect, because right now it's too dark to see the shading. So click on the Fill Color tool and make sure you are in the Swatches panel, which is all of the colours in little squares. If you're in the Colour Mixer, you're in the wrong menu. Click to see the Swatches panel and choose a light grey. If it's too dark, you'll lose the shading effect. You can see as it's darker in colour, the shading disappears. Make sure that you can see the shading effect. With light grey now chosen, click on the background to deselect the Fill Color tool. Now we need to convert this text into individual images. To do this, click Object, Expand Appearance. This has converted the text to an actual image. Now right-click on the text and click Ungroup. Right-click again, or 2 fingers on your touchpad, and click Ungroup a second time. This breaks apart all of the individual pieces of the writing. With the Selection tool, we can now click on individual parts of the writing and select them individually. This will allow us to add colour to the different parts of the text. Before we add colour, we need to open our colour palette. To do this, click File, Open, and go to the folder where you saved the colour palette. Then select the image and click Open. Simply drag a box around this image and then select Edit, Copy. Go back to your project window and click Edit, Paste. Now, click and drag the colour palette to the side of the screen so it's out of the way. With our colours ready, we can now draw a background. To do this, choose the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle around the text. It's covering the text at the moment, so what we're going to do is click Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. This will put the rectangle behind the text. Now we need to change the colour. To do this, rather than change the fill colour as we usually do, we're going to use our colour palette. Use the ink dropper tool or the eyedropper tool at the side of the screen in the left-hand menu. Click this and now we'll be able to click on a colour on the screen and choose the fill colour by clicking on something. I'm going to use the yellow colour from my colour palette, and we've now got a yellow background. The eyedropper tool allows us to select any colour by clicking on it. Now, to avoid moving this background around, click Object, Lock, Selection. Now click on the Selection tool. If you scroll the cursor over the different parts of the text, you can see they're individually highlighted. If we look at the P, you can see that there are small parts that have created the 3D effect. If I zoom in on them, we can see them more clearly. We need to join these together. So click on the first one and then hold the Shift key and click it to select it. Make sure the selection tool has been clicked. Hold Shift, click to highlight it, and you'll see the dotted line around that section, and click on the next section to highlight the rest of it. Now, on the right-hand side menu, you'll see Pathfinder. Choose the first option in the Pathfinder, which is two white squares. This is the Unite option, and it will take all of these pieces and make them one piece. Click and you'll see that piece is now one whole section. Do the same for the inside of the P, because the top section there is in two pieces as well. Click, hold the Shift key, click on the next part, and then click in the Pathfinder menu, click the two white squares to unite them. Now we can zoom back out by holding Command and minus. If you need to, you can move the slider at the bottom of the screen to reposition your image. Now click on the background to deselect the text. Make sure the selection tool has been checked, and we're now going to add colour to the lettering. To do this, hold the Shift key and click on all the up-facing sections of the text. With all four selected, look to the left-hand side menu and select the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool allows us to choose colours by simply clicking on anything we can see on the screen. I can now change the selected sections of the lettering by clicking on the colour palette. I'm going to choose the green colour. The eyedropper tool has allowed me to click on that section and it's automatically added colour to the selection that I made. Now click on the selection tool again, click on the background to deselect what we've just changed, and we can change the other sections of colour by holding the Shift key and clicking on the side facing portions of the lettering. Don't worry if you miss one, you can always go back later. I'll miss one on purpose now so you can see how to do it. You can see I missed inside a section of the P, but right now I'll click on the eyedropper tool and select the pink colour. I've also missed a few sections of the E. So click the selection tool, click on the background, hold the shift key, and now select the pieces that you missed on the first try. With those now selected, click the eyedropper tool, click on the pink colour again, and apply that colour. Now we're going to add purple to the rest of the lettering. Click on the selection tool, click on the background to deselect, and now holding the shift key, click on the remaining grey areas. With them selected, click the eyedropper tool and click on the purple colour. Now, click on the selection tool, click on the background to deselect the letters. We're going to add one last effect to finish off the 3D look to this lettering. With the selection tool clicked, drag a rectangle around the lettering. Be sure you don't cross over the colour palette by mistake. You could, if you want to, simply move the colour palette out of the way. Now click, drag and highlight around the lettering. Now click on the stroke colour. Make sure that you are in the swatches panel and not the colour mixer. From the swatches panel, click on black and then change the stroke colour to 2 point. Click on the background to deselect and you'll see we've added a nice 3D outline effect to the text. Now we're going to add some shading. To do this, hold the shift key and click on the green portions of the text, the T, Y, P and the E. Now click Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in Front. Change the fill colour to black. Now click on the background to deselect. Highlight the letters again. Shift, click on T, Y, P, E. Click Object, Group. Now click Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in Front. Hold the left key on your keyboard and move the letters to the side slightly. Now press the shift key and click on the lower portion of the E to select the bottom group of letters. Now click Object, Blend, Make. Now select Blend Options, Specified Steps, change the setting to 100 if it's not in there already, check the preview and click OK. Now click on the background to deselect the shapes. Click on them again to reselect them, and we're going to permanently apply this blend effect by clicking Object, Expand. Ignore the settings, leave them as they are. Click OK. Then in the menu to the right hand side you will see the Pathfinder options. We're going to click Unite to combine all of these layers into one shape. Click the two white squares. It will calculate for a moment and then it will change to black. Now we're going to send this shading behind the lettering. To do that, you're going to press the Command key and the left square bracket on your keyboard. Keep pressing the left square bracket while holding the Command key, and you'll see each piece of the layer moving behind the different sections of our coloured lettering. Do this slowly until the black section disappears completely. because this means we've gone too far. Then slowly, with your finger still on the Command key, press the right bracket until the shading comes back. If it disappears, you've gone too far. Press it one more time to bring it back. Then release the Command key. Now, with the down arrow, move the shading below the lettering. Line it up like I have in the example. Finally, we're going to lighten this shading up by changing the opacity, which is the transparency of the black shading, to about 50%. And we've got a nice shading effect added to our text. When you've done that, click on the background to deselect the text. We're now going to add one last effect to our lettering. To do this, draw a small circle using the ellipse tool at the side of your canvas. Make sure the fill colour is set to black and the stroke colour is set to none. Then click on the selection tool and click twice on the background to deselect everything. Now reselect the black dot that you've just created and click Object, Pattern, Make. If a message box appears, just click OK, and in the pattern options, tile type, select brick by brick row. In the width, change the width so they're a little bit more spaced apart. So I'll change this to about 12 points and see how it looks. I'm happy with that, so now change the height to the same 12 points. When you've done that, you'll see in the swatches panel that's appeared, if you scroll down, you can see there's a black dot that's appeared, and this is called New Pattern. At the top of the screen, you can see Save a Copy, Done, and Cancel. Just click Done. Now the swatches panel is still open, and you can see this new pattern is still there. It's a polka dot tile. Now click on the selection tool, hold the Shift key, and click on all of the dark purple parts of your lettering. Now click Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in Front. Now click on the new polka dot tile to apply this fill pattern. Now, just like before, we need to move these new sections behind our lettering. Make sure the selection tool is selected and click anywhere on the background to deselect these new pieces. Now, one at a time, click them, hold the Command key and the left bracket and move them behind the section until they are in the right place. You don't have to do this for every single one, just the ones that are overlapping with some of the coloured text. Command key, left bracket. Press it as many times as you need to. When the polka dot texture is no longer overlapping any of the lettering, you're finished. Now you can delete the dot by clicking on it. You can delete the colour palette by clicking on it, pressing delete. And then your project is ready to save. Simply click File, Save As, save your project. With the Illustrator options, simply click OK. If you want to, you can export this now as an SVG file.